Jennifer?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Mr. Kamal with PoliceAbuse.com, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions and talk to you a little bit about your arrest. Why don't you start by telling
Okay.
me how you came in contact with the police? I read your complaint form, but after you tell the story, I may have a few additional questions.
Okay. So we were me, my brother, my boyfriend, his brother. Okay, so it's really confusing. So I never know how much detail to give, but there was a huge group of us. There was 9 of us, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and we went out the night before Thanksgiving, and we went to a bar where everybody from our high school goes to. Like, no joke, I see people at this bar that I've never seen for years because everybody goes to this bar on that night. So we went there on the night before Thanksgiving, and we arranged for 2 cabs to pick us up when the bar closed. Short, long story short, we ended up getting the 2 cabs taken by other people that were at the bar and leaving when the bar closed. So we were inside the bar lobby, and I asked one of the bartenders if they had any cab companies that came to pick up at this place because it's in like a suburban area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a big city, so it's not that, you can't just call a cab type deal. So he gave me some different cars, and I was on the phone calling cabs. Me and my boyfriend were trying to figure this out. When my older brother, he is 27, he got in an argument with the bar manager because the bar manager was trying to kick him and out of the bar. Apparently because he was drunk. He was pretty drunk, but he wasn't. I mean, he was harmless. He wasn't doing anything. He was just being an idiot, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And my boyfriend's brother got involved and got in an argument with him because he actually is a bar manager and basically said, I would never kick anybody, like patrons, out of a bar when they're waiting for a cab. It was freezing out that night. If you look at the weather that night, it was seriously freezing. And anyway, so they ended up getting thrown out of the bar, which I was not even aware of. But long story short, we're sitting in the bar, and everybody in our group ended up being pushed out the front door. Is what it felt like. It was like the staff came out and pushed not just us, everybody in the lobby out a one door in front of the bar. And we were pushed into another group of drunk people sitting outside, waiting for cabs, rides, whatever. And as we were being pushed, it was kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a mob pit. Everybody's like being shoved back and forth, like swaying. Mm-hmm. And there were girls that literally fell to the ground. Like there were mass people on the ground. And as I caught my balance, I saw a guy about 10 feet in front of me on the ground, not face down, but like his head had hit the ground, unconscious. And my thought process at this time was that guy was going to get trampled. So I started screaming, freaking out, because I was worried about myself getting trampled with this whole pushing episode because I was in heels and everything else. So I started screaming. I ran over to this guy. And my boyfriend's girlfriend is an RN, so she's a nurse. I'm a medical student. So we both went over. She came over when she saw me or whatever. We both attended to him. I made sure he was breathing. I checked his respiration. I made sure he had a pulse. He had a pulse. He was snoring, actually. And the only reason I knew that was because I stuck my ear down to his face to make sure I could feel his breathing, his breath, to make sure there was enough pressure. And I checked for any injuries. He had no injuries on his face. I felt the back of his skull. And I ended up getting blood on my hand because he did have a laceration on the back of his head. It was not severe enough that I felt like it wasn't gushing. And scalp bleeds can gush. I mean, scalp bleeds are dangerous, but it wasn't severe enough that it needed pressure applied or anything of that sort. So he started kind of regaining conscious, and that my older brother, he was outside. I called him over, and I asked him to come help him get up, and he actually put his hoodie under the guy's head while he was still laying there, and then I told him I was going to go wash my hands. During this interaction, my boyfriend had come over and said, like, what happened? What's wrong with this guy? I said, I think he fell. And he said, I need to get my older brother out of here because I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. I'm kind of stressed. But when we were pushed out of the bar, me and my boyfriend pushed out together, and he saw his brother on the left side of us. We have, like, diagrams of everything that happened. We have images, everything. We took as much evidence as we could, but his older brother was on a fence, but and with like a couple bartenders on top of him. And we have pictures of the fence being destroyed after the incident, and his older brother was thrown out of the bar. So anyway, so he said that he saw his brother over there and went to his brother. I went to this guy underground. We kind of split paths at that way, at that point. So I went over and we were helping this guy. My brother was helping him. I went inside to wash my hands because I had his blood in my hands. And I'm in at this point I'm in I&I in medical school, which we learn about all the sections that you can get from blood. So at this point I think I have hepatitis and HIV and everything you can possibly imagine. So it's very crucial that I wash my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a waitress to let me go back inside to wash my hands. I come back outside and my boyfriend is on the ground with two cops on top of him. And my brother comes running out and bear hugs me out of the group. And he's like, "You're staying right here." Because he was pretty drunk at this point. My brother and my boyfriend's brother are older. They're slightly different. My brother's 27. My boyfriend's brother, I think, is 25. And I'm 23. My boyfriend's 22. So people at this bar are typically younger. So it wasn't their crowd. Whereas for us, it's everybody we've ever known. So they got a little too drunk. And anyway, he comes and bear hugs me. I'm trying to get my phone out to record it. He wouldn't even let me touch my purse. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What? I don't understand. Because last time me and my boyfriend talked, we agreed he was getting his brother out of there. His two brothers. His younger brother was there, but not involved in any of the incidents. He was just present. He wanted to get them away from the situation. And we had agreed I was going to go wash my hands, and then we were all going to meet in the parking lot to get our cabs. So anyways, I come out to this, and as me and my brother are talking, he was taken to the ground from behind by two police officers. He smacked his head on the pavement from what I saw, and I screamed, and I was like, "Oh my God, Gordy," which is my brother. I was like, "Are you okay?" Because in my mind, he's going to be knocked unconscious, just like this other guy that was knocked unconscious. And I said, "I don't understand. What is he being charged with?" And the officer said, "Ma'am, please back up." And I said, "What do you mean?" Because at this point, I wasn't anyone. They came and tackled him. We're standing there talking, probably 2 feet apart, and he's tackled to the ground. I never got anywhere near. I don't understand. And as soon as I said, "What do you mean?" another cop just took me to the ground. I have pictures of my knees and everything else bruised up all the way, probably a good 6 inches on both knees. And I'm 5'4". I weigh maybe 115 pounds. I was in heels. It wasn't like I was a threat. I was taken to the ground. Another cop came and arrested me and put handcuffs on me. And I asked him why I was being arrested. This cop's name was Officer Fantini. He was amazing because, not amazing, but I feel like he did his job because he arrested me. He said, "I don't know why you're being arrested. I'm not really sure. Just come sit here, hold tight. I'll figure out what's going on." And he was very nice, very respectful, respected my rights, in every way possible that I feel like police officers can do. Took my purse, "I'm not going to, do you have anything in here?" I said no. He was very respectful. Put me in the cop car. And I'm sitting in the cop car, and the officer that shoved me to the ground comes over, and he opens the door, and he says, "You have no common sense." And I ignored him, and I said, "Sir, I graduated first in my class from Lakota East. I've never been in trouble in my life." I was just trying to give myself some credibility so he would listen to me. And his response was, "There's a first time for everything." And I said, "I understand that. But you have to understand, I'm a medical student, and I'm very concerned because this man was passed out on the ground, smacked his head, is drunk. And, when you have somebody that falls over and is drunk like that, there's so many risks for, epidural hematomas and so many, possible injuries that can happen that can lead to death. And so I was concerned about him, and then he takes my brother down and smacks his head. So I was concerned about that, and I was just trying to explain that to him.
So you're a medical student. You're a medical student at OSU.
I'm actually no. I went to OSU for undergrad. I'm at Toledo right now.
Okay, all right. And your brother and the other gentleman were they students or they're graduated? They're not in school.
Okay, so my brother, he has his bachelor's, so he's graduated. My boyfriend he's in his electrical apprenticeship, so he goes to school and works to get his electrician license. And then his older brother is a bartender. He doesn't have stickers.
Okay, and the people that
so all four of us are arrested.
Okay, and the four of you, none of you guys have criminal records of any significance.
Okay, I do not at all. my brother had an MM for disorderly conduct in high school, or in high school and in college. My boyfriend, I think, has an MM for possession, like marijuana possession.
Okay, no, you don't even need to explain those. Those are that is minor, so don't worry about it. I just
No,
mean
nothing that would
there's
nothing that would make you think we were aggressive, anything like that.
okay. So what I mean is, no one has any violent record of felonies or anything like that.
No.
Okay,
No.
okay, and nothing that you guys did at the scene of this incident would lead the police to believe that you were posing a threat to anyone. You guys were simply standing there.
No, I mean, I was inside when I came out to it, and if you read the police reports, they say that my boyfriend and his brother and two of our friends, they say that they were walking out aggressively. But we have witnesses that say that the bartender and the bar manager of the bar pointed to them.
Okay, so let me just say
And
this.
that's why they were...
Just a couple of things. I'm gonna.
Sorry, I'm sorry for
No, it's okay. You're doing just
not
fine.
making sense. I'm just stressed out about everything.
No, I just want to try to repeat the story back so I make sure I understand it. So basically,
No.
you the brother. I'm not sure if it was your brother or your. The two people
Boyfriend's brother.
okay, the two people that had a little too much to drink, they were not attacking anyone. They just had a little too much to drink. They were being a little obnoxious. Is that right?
Exactly. Like, literally, I can remember the exact location. I had 2 beers that night. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I drink on occasion, but I don't get drunk with people I haven't seen in years. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I can prove my receipts. Like, I had 2 drinks that night.
Okay, okay, so that's not a problem. So let's move on to how this whole thing got out of control. So basically, did someone call the police, or did the police just show up?
Okay, no. They did call the police. And they called the police after everyone was pushed out of the bar and that injured man was laying on the ground. We have videos of the stuff, but, like, we see everyone going out the front door, being funded out the front door. And then we see the bar manager, who's a witness apparently, inside the bar, goes running to the front door, running back, and tells somebody to call the police. So I think everyone was pushed out, and this guy fell, and he saw the injury, and freaked out and called the police.
Okay.
That's what we think happened. I don't know exactly for sure, but no police were... I didn't know the police were there until I came out of the bathroom from washing my hands.
Okay, so let's do this to keep it simple, because if there's other parties, I can talk to them directly about what happened to them. So let me just stick with what you know and what you saw. You came out of the bathroom, you'd washed your hands, you were leaving the place, and then how did you get arrested? Just walk me through that.
Okay, so I come out of the bathroom, I just washed my hands, my boyfriend's on the ground with 2 cops on top of him, and I'm at this point, like, so stressed out, because when this guy, just real quick, when this guy, like, was laying on the ground, I thought he was going to get trampled, and I panicked that I was going to have to do CPR, just because the only people I felt like were sober were me and my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, who's the RN. She rarely drinks, if anything, like, she may have had half a beer that night, and so we're both pretty little girls, and I'm like, oh my god, we're going to have to do CPR. So anyway, so I was paranoid about that, so I'm all stressed about that. I get his blood on my hands, go inside, wash my hands, come out, my boyfriend's on the ground with 2 cops on top of him. My brother comes out and bear hugs me, like, away from everything. And it's like, you're not going over there, blah, 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 like, you're not getting involved. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? And as we're talking, 2 cops come and tackle him from behind to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they hold on, so let me back up. When they tackled him, he was only dealing with you. He wasn't bothering anyone, and you guys he was trying to pull you away from the situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's
the thing. I had no idea what was happening. You know,
okay,
I come out and I see my
hold
boyfriend
on. Oh, let me just stick with where we are right now. So they tackle him to the ground, and then what did they do with you?
Okay, so they tackle him to the ground, and I scream, Gordy, which is his name, and I go towards his head, because I'm thinking he's unconscious like the other guy, and he, like, kind of looked up to me, and I was like, okay, wait a second, sir, why are you arresting him? And the officer says, ma'am, back up. And I say, what do you mean? Because I literally was like, I was standing in my position, they tackle him, I go towards his head, and they're telling me, it was just very confusing to me about what was going on. And I have audio recording of this too, of me saying, sir, what are you charging him with? And saying, ma'am, you need to back up, and me saying, what do you mean? And then the other officer goes, last chance, and then he shoved me to the ground. And I have witnesses of this.
Okay, so you basically were warned one time, and then he shoved you down to the ground?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
And were you injured when you hit the ground?
I have pictures of all my injuries. My injuries aren't, I mean, they're not severe, but I have both my knees are bruised, bleeding, scraped up.
Okay. So I read your complaint, and essentially your allegation is excessive force and false arrest, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because part of it too is, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I was saying part of it too is that I feel like I feel like I ended up being charged because after this happened and I was put in the cop car, I honestly feel like I mean I don't mean this to sound like I feel like I probably could have gone out of it had I like sucked up the police officers. I really do. But like because of how I was approached and how I responded, I took that cop off, and I feel like I was charged purely because he has a vendetta towards me because I pissed him off.
Okay.
And I feel like my boyfriend was charged the same reason.
So basically, what your main point is that the charges were not supported by anything that you did, but rather the officer's attitude towards you.
Exactly.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So let me just tell you where I am right now. I have enough information to give you some advice and tell you what we're going to do, and then if you want us to assist you further, you can feel free to call us back, okay?
Okay.
All right. Basically, it does sound like you have an excessive force and false arrest complaint. I'm going to tell you what the police are going to come back with, and I haven't read the report yet, so I'm speculating, but I'm suggesting that it'll probably be something that you've already read in the report. They're going to say that you guys posed a threat, that you were repeatedly warned over and over, that someone made an overt gesture, that they were responding to the threat against them, and that they were protecting themselves from harm when they knocked your brother down and arrested you. Now, is that what they wrote in the report?
Right. Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, they said that my brother was coming at them when he was taken down, and they said I was swinging at them.
Okay,
So,
well, and then
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did any of those things happen?
No,
Oh.
my brother was talking. I've never swung at a cop. Are you kidding me?
Okay, well, okay,
no,
so
I've never even gotten attended.
well, then you should know by now that you called the right place, because I know what they do.
I feel that way.
Okay,
I
so
do.
all right. So this is what we do. If you just want us to file the complaint, there's no charge to file it. We'll submit the complaint within 48 hours. If you want additional help, like advice along the way, then we have a membership, and anyone who wants to join can join, and then you can talk to me further. But basically, this is my advice and my thought about what happened. If you have witnesses, if you don't know them personally, and even if you do, I suggest that you get them to sign a written statement, have them write it out and sign it, because people change their mind, witnesses go away, and it sounds like you're going to need the witnesses to corroborate your side of the story. If you get an attorney, well, my hope is this, and it may very well happen. It sounds like they don't have much of a case against you. In fact, it sounds very weak. But to protect themselves from being sued, they're going to go all the way. Right, they're going to go all the way with trying to get you charged with something. And at some point, they may offer you a deal. You may or may not. Has that happened yet?
Yeah, they actually offered me a deal where, like, because I'm a medical student and I have a good background, where I would have no record, and I would just have, it was a diversion program. I had to do what they wanted, but I can't plead guilty to something I didn't do. That's against every moral I have, so no, I'm not doing that.
Okay, well then if you're going to fight it, the best thing to do is to get your evidence organized. They still may drop it, because I just don't think they have a case against you, especially with your background and your record. It's going to be difficult to convince a jury that. And how tall are you, and how much do you weigh? You're 5 what?
I'm 5'4", 115 pounds on like a good day.
Yeah, okay. So I just don't think the jury's going to buy that. But the cops will try to push it because they have to protect themselves from being sued. Not that that's the right thing to do.
Can I ask you with obstruction of justice though? Don't you Here's the thing. Like, one of the witnesses involved with the case, he is a bar manager for the bar. And he wrote a statement, and he actually came up to us after and we texted with him, and we have all the text messages, and told us that he basically gave a false statement. Is that not obstruction of justice?
Well, no. That's a problem for them in terms of their case, and it's a problem for him as a witness if he ever gets on the stand, and that's something that you might want to have the prosecuting lawyer know about, because that will make them.
He knows. He said it doesn't matter. Is what she said.
Well, okay. They always say that because they want you to take the deal. So let me say this. Let me say this to you. I took your complaint on the fly. I didn't know that we'd be talking this long, and I'm certainly willing to talk to you further. But let me just summarize a few things that I want you to know. You seems like you already have a lot of information. Did you already got a copy of the police report?
Yeah, I got police reports, medical. I mean, we went to the bar. We got videos from across the street. We have done everything we can possibly do.
Okay.
To try to prove it.
And have they asked you to appear in court? Have they given you a court date?
Yeah, so our first, it's a long story, but we hired one lawyer to begin with, who we heard was the best of the best. We paid buku bucks with this guy, and it turned out that he actually is friends with the lieutenant in charge.
Oh, boy.
And basically kept telling us that we need to take the deal, and we ended up getting, multiple second opinions, and they were all saying, that's bullshit, don't take it. So we've, looked into math stuff about it.
Okay, so let me say this to you. You definitely need some help, and I think I can give you some additional advice, but our baseline is we file the complaints for non-members. If you want advice, you have to be a member, and if you go on the website...
What is the fee?
It's $10 to be a member. It's $10. It's a nominal fee, but the point is I can give you some additional advice, and I can walk you through some things that you need to do to collect the evidence you're going to need. And we don't represent people. We're not the lawyers. We're the investigators. But we're very good at what we do, and we deal... Okay, good. We only deal with police misconduct issues. So my suggestion to you is this. If you do the membership, then you can send me your evidence. I'll take a look at it, and then we should talk again after I see the evidence.
Okay. I will send you everything. Okay, so you said... Go on, get the membership. You said it's $10?
Yeah, it's on. You can go on policeboost.com and you can sign up for the membership. And then when you do that, you're going to be scheduled to talk with me again because I have a few more questions. But before I talk with you, let's do it this way. Why don't you send? I'm going to give you an email address where you can email the evidence you have.
Yep.
Okay.
1 second. Let me write this down.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Just send your evidence to help@policeabuse.com. That's HELP@policeabuse.com.
Okay.
All right. And I'll take a look at it. And when Miss Jackson gets your membership, then she'll contact the office or contact you and schedule an appointment. Then I'll talk to you again. We'll go over the evidence, and then we'll come up with a game plan. And listen, on this issue with your attorney, at least I'd say 2/3 of my clients have attorneys that the attorneys are really excited about the case until they get paid, and then the excitement fades away, and they get...
That's exactly,
No, I know. It's the same story over and over and over. So if you have a good attorney who knows what you want, we will help you get the results that you're trying to get. And if you're trying to prove your innocence, then the attorney needs to be on board with that, and we'll make sure that we're watching what he's doing. Okay?
Right, and we did get a new attorney, and the attorney I have now I do think is 100%. He's a First Amendment right lawyer. I think he's 100% on board with all of this. But
Excellent. Well, what we'll do is we'll work with your attorney, but our job is to basically look at it as specialists dealing with what the police did wrong and advising your attorney and advising you on things you can do to expose what the police did improperly. Okay?
I'm so excited. So tell me, what is your name again?
My name is Mr. Kamau, and I'm the CEO of PoliceAbuse.com, and you'll see me in most of the videos on the website.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to me. It seriously means the world to me.
You're very welcome, and it was a pleasure. And I'll look for getting back in touch with you in a few days after I get the evidence. But you can send it anytime. I'll be looking out for it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
take care, Jennifer. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.